So, I happened to come across a theory in regards to epilepsy. I don't believe for 1 minute that it's an illness. Like the world have actually brainwashed people into believing it is. Think of it this way, right? What happens when a robot, not necessarily a humanoid, but a manufactured robot, dysfunctions? It's gonna go all out of whack, and it's gonna be stumbling upon its words, and before you know it, it dies, right? And that is due to, technically speaking, if you want to get spiritual or intellectual for that matter, that is due to an overload on the senses, which could well potentially lead to vivid dreams along with memories flashing before the very eyes of man or woman. And what I believe to be true, although more research is actually required on this for that matter, what I believe to be true is that when it comes down to epilepsy within either a man or a woman, and it may come across as though their lives are actually in fact flashing before their very eyes, right? What I believe that is technically a chemical imbalance to the brain, which, within reason, a lot of the time, can result to over stimuli upon the senses, which in turn, like I said, could either make a man or a woman react violently upon the floor, right, after falling, i.e. seizure, as you will. And what that is, like I said, is a sensory overload. It's chemical imbalance to the brain. It's nothing to be fearful of. So to anyone that suffers from epilepsy, you can heal from it. Don't listen to, these so-called elite doctors, that basically want to dope you up to your eyeballs with substances that are deliberately trampled and tampered with in regards to contribute to it rather than take away from it. Because after all, they want the audience, right, to remain ill so that they can profit from it. That's all it is. And I believe it can be healed from via seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, even years of seeking the Holy Spirit, which so happens to be omnipresent and gifted unto all. That is the only way someone is going to heal from epilepsy. I would also recommend to use spiritual discernment if you're currently looking into information in regards to epilepsy, in regards to protecting yourselves, that is, from any repeating performances or seizures for that matter. Because a lot of the information you see out there without the spiritual discernment is nothing more than lies and deception. Hiding behind sugar-coated truths. And if you're able to spiritually discern just exactly what information is false and what information so happens to be true, you can heal like that. Without a shadow of a doubt. You could heal relatively fast. Without the drugs, without the substance, without the obscured information that you get from doctors or professionals for that matter, and therapists and all of this. You can get it naturally via, I wouldn't say self, because that would technically fall under pride and ego, but you can get it through studying as well as using spiritual discernment. Imagine your brain being a sponge, right? And you so happen to soak up years upon years, and I mean years, of information. Now you have to process that information and use spiritual discernment at the same time in order to take what information is true from the information that is nothing more than lies and deception. In regards to applying the truthful information to speed up your healing process along with recovery, right? That's what people need to do. Now, you could take my word for it. I mean, at the end of the day, you may even fail more times than you can actually, in fact, begin to count before unlocking your fullest potential when it comes down to learning, as well as studying. Or you could take the voice of the wood that is built upon nothing more than lies, deception, and sugar-coated truths, disguised as lies even, that's causing nothing more than the herd mentality within people. In other words, a realist walks into a room, offers information, right? Now, this information is without a shadow of a doubt going to provoke other people, regardless. Why? Well, that's an easy one, isn't it? Because the information that they so happen to learn and apply to their lives was taken from spiritual discernment. Therefore, it is factual, right? In comparison to the dogma that you hear, without the spiritual tool of discernment. Now, people's demons aren't stupid, they could pick up on this. They could pick up somebody that so happens to be spiritually and psychologically switched on, from those that are still asleep within the blue-pilled matrix, believing everything and anything they're told. They know this, deep down within their heart and mind. Whether they want to believe it or accept it, they know it. Or whether they don't even, they still know it regardless, right? And that's how you know you're winning in life at the end of the day. That's how you know you're winning. And that is how you know you're already, say, lapping 99.9% of people upon the face of the earth that are living within this blue-pilled matrix. Or as I'd like to call it, technically speaking, fantasy land, because that's all it is. It's the same with this, bullshit idea of romance and romantic novels and all of this. They are nothing more than scams to deliberately entrap people's souls within relationships and marriages that are doomed to fail. Because one, they are outside of God's control. Two, they are not within the Old Testament and the New Testament. Therefore, they're doomed to fail. Why? Because the presence of the Lord is not there. Therefore, they are on their own. And this is why I don't follow the blue-pilled society like a lot of people do. This is why, I'm now currently absorbing what information I pick up in order to spiritually discern what is truth in comparison from what is lie. Therefore, I can sell the information that so happens to be true as well as beneficial onto others in the long run, and leave an imprint, a blueprint as I'd like to call it, upon the face of the earth, even up to the age when I physically die, only to assume that, of course, my name even is within the book of life, only to be called back within my physical body that was either buried. Me personally, I would like to be put on ice, if you think about it, for however long it takes them to come up with the knowledge in regards to bring said person back around after being on ice all of this time. Not impossible. And, there we have it. So, to you people out there that suffer epilepsy, like I said, you can take my word for it, regardless to where my mind might be at, or you can take the world's voice and fool yourself into believing their dogma, as you will, over my sound, spiritually discerned information that I so happen to dissect from lies and deception. It is what it is.